Hello, in this video we will create a repository in the GitHub and push our local code from the local machine to this repository. In the process we'll be creating tokens so that the local machine is able to access the Git repository and we are able to push our changes to the remote repository. So let's see how we have to do this. Step 1, first we need to create the local repository. So I just go here and I create a repository with the name git basics. So this is available. I create a public repository and I say create repository. Now it has given me some commands which can be used for, so all these commands which can be used for creating a new repository from the command line. Let's see what these commands are. So these are the commands which were listed there. So I would go one by one in these, but let's see the configuration first. So in our repository we can have some configuration properties like your username and email which you want to use for this repository, and they can be in the local config, system config, or global config. So system is the highest, then comes global, then comes local, which means local shall override global and system, and global shall override the system config values. So these are the config values. Next comes your init command. So initialize, if you have to initialize the repository, empty repository, that's what is init. And you want to stage your changes, you have to run this git add. So git add is meant for, and dot here is the current directory, so it will stage the changes for commit. And commit is basically if you want to commit the staged snapshot, and this is the message which you want to write for the commit. And then we see the -m flag here, it is for renaming the branch. The next one is git remote add origin. So what you want to do here, this is very important to see, and you can see to communicate with the outside world, Git uses something called remotes. So these are the repositories other than the ones on the local disk. Okay, these are the repositories where you want to push your changes. So basically this is a remote GitHub repository where I want to push my changes. Okay, and so what this command is doing is it is creating a new remote called origin. And what is the location of this new remote? The location is this path. So that's what this does. It creates a origin which is directing to this path. And then when I say push my changes to origin from my main, which is the local main, it will be pushed here. Okay, so those are the things which are there. And this one I have already indicated, but if we have to read this, so it says that this is a command that pushed the commits in the local branch named master to the remote named origin. Okay, so from here, which is master in this case, but here it is main, from the local main it will be pushing the changes to the origin, which is pointing to this specific path. Okay, now let's see all these things in action. So I'll open the terminal and I'll create a if I do this and if I do ls, there is nothing here. So I would do ls -a to list everything, and there is nothing. So what I do, the first command which has been explained here is the one where I would be doing the init. Okay, so let me do this git init, and the moment I do init, a git repository would be initialized here, which we will be able to see. So if you do ls -a, you shall be seeing this. If you go inside the .git and you do ls, there is a config file. So if you do a cat on the config, you would see these kind of things which are already in the config. So now if in case I have to give my own config values, I can do that. And because it's a local, I want to do it in local because in my global there is another configuration which has been set, which I don't want to touch. So I go here, I do a ls, and I would do this. Okay, and now these values would be set inside the config. So if I do cat on .git/config, I'll be able to see that these email and name has been set here. Now what are the next set of commands? I'll just copy and paste. So this is like creating a creating a file in my local called readme.md. Post this, if I do ls, I'll see this file has been created, and this is what is going to be pushed. So this is git add readme.md. If I have to add everything, I can say git add no, let me see, git add dot also I can do to add everything. Okay, now if I do commit, so let me do till here. The last one I'll tell you why I'm not doing. So there is one change which has been staged now for the commit, and let me set the origin. Now when I push this, when I say push, it shall ask me for the username and password, and this is where the token is required. So let's take the token from here. Let me show you from where you have to take the token. You have to go here, you have to go to settings, and you have to go to developer settings, and you have to create a token here. So this is fine grained tokens, and this is classic tokens. Let's create a classic token. So generate a classic token. So let's say I want to name it code check-in, and let's say that custom, I want to expire it by 5th of July. And what access I want to give it? I want to give it probably this access. Okay, repo deployment, write packages, yeah, I think this should be good for now. So this is one way of giving the tokens and using the tokens. Let me create this. I'll generate this token. This token has been generated. I'll copy this, and my username I'm already aware of, so I'll type that, and I'll type my token. I have pasted it, and I can see it has written all the files there. So if you see here now, if you go to the repositories, you shall be able to see the readme file being entered here. Okay, that's what was the small demo on setting up your local repository and syncing it up with the remote repository which you have created on the GitHub. Thank you very much.